Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to look at games that are infuriating to play, that will destroy keyboards. This video is sponsored by COVID that I just had. Thank you very much for that. And with that out of the way, let's go. And first up is the XCOM franchise. Yeah, I know it's not spelled like that. I was trying to be funny. Anyway, do you know XCOM? Oh my god, this game is infuriating to play. The RNG in this game is abysmal. And all of XCOM games, I'm talking about Enemy Unknown, XCOM 2, Declassified, Enemy Within, you name it, this game is a destroyer of keyboards and games. This is a vile thing to die, Shakespeare wrote, when men are unprepared and look not for it. This is precisely XCOM's favorite way to kill you. Enemy Unknown is just unexpectedly murdered my best soldier, not with a jackpack or alien cyborg, not with a lucky grenade, no, with a forklift. It's just eaten the life of our most decorated alien killer. I'm heartbroken. I hold a tiny funeral in my mind. Bagpipes, last rites, over a grave. Good day, sir. Your RNG will be missed. That said, there's absolutely no question about it. XCOM games are amazing. Mostly, it's a game that understands that loss can be leveraged in parallel with rewards to tell a great story. It paints from a unique emotional palette: doom, sacrifice, luck, surprise, even revenge. It uses death like most of us use mayonnaise, and impossibly difficult practically makes XCOM into a mourning simulator, a destroyer of keyboards, and definitely a game that I've rage quit several times. I always come back to it, but then I tell myself why. Why sick? You know you're just gonna get hurt. You're gonna be crying. It's gonna be bad. Could be my strategy. I usually have one guy. I build him up. I put him in the skies. I give him all the best gear. And then when I lose him, I'm like, what's the point? I'm gonna cry now. I'm gonna go in the corner. I'm gonna cry. That's it. Uninstall. Anyway, XCOM 2, you should definitely try it if you're willing to lose a keyboard or two. If not, you should skip it. And with that said, let's move on to the next one. As a massive fan of the first game, this is woefully disappointing. The engaging tactical system of the first are completely missing, watered down into what feels like a mobile game. Instead of exploring the dungeon, managing light, loot, formation, and inventory, traveling instead becomes a form of monotonous cart driving minigame where you have to jump and bump into obstacles for a tiny chance for some reward. The combat has also somehow turned slow and boring. The narration is bland and uninspiring. Everything brilliant about the first game has been absolutely butchered. The only thing better than before is the details on the models, and maybe that's thanks to the Unity that they're using. Everything else is a massive step backwards. I just wonder what on earth were they thinking? Is it the same staff working on this game? Is it, I mean, it's still in early access, which is good, but I really hope this game can be salvaged. Doesn't take away from the destroyer of keyboards. You're still gonna destroy your keyboard, but I'm just saying that the Darkest Dungeon 2 unfortunately doesn't hit it for me. For reference, the original Darkest Dungeon is one of my favorite games. I love the snappy combat, I love playing around with party compositions, I love the simple act of having to pay attention to the levels you're exploring because that's how you find loot and disarm traps and all of that. And at some point, it feels like Darkest Dungeon 2 is a game made by the people who like nothing of what I liked in the first game, and that makes me a little bit sad. Darkest Dungeon 1 was actually one of the reasons I wanted to create this game, so despite really caring for it, it was really rage generated. The RNG that I had in this game was abysmal, and all the traits that I got were always negative. But that's kind of taken out of Darkest Dungeon 2. I didn't feel the same type of rage when I was playing, and I don't know if that's a good thing. I actually enjoyed that rage and having to die because when I would die in the first game, you would feel like you've progressed. Here, that's unfortunately missed. Yeah, too bad. On to the next. Inscription. Oh, the rage. Inscription's first act, you face off against the game master, a shadowy figure who begins by telling you how you got to the cabin, by winning a series of card games, of course. Your deck is made up of animals such as a humble squirrel, you'll understand that meaning a little bit later, as well as a skunk, defensive river turtles, powerful wolves, even a bear. For every attack that makes it past this fury line of defense, and for every point you land on your opponent, a golden tooth is added to the scales. Literally, the scales is on the left side of the table. And as with any other card game, Rage is really easy if your RNG is not that good. And my RNG, as you've been told throughout this video, is completely and utterly trash. So I had a lot of bad luck. I would sit with hands that are completely useless and just look at myself die. So between these awful games, you can stand up, leave the table, and inspect the game master's sparsely decorated cabin. Some of the furniture and trappings will benefit you immediately upon clicking them, while others might take a little bit of effort and investigation to discover their purpose. While I often found myself neglecting the escape room puzzles for just one more round of playing the card game, I recommend being more proactive than I was. Most of the rewards in the cabin are powerful items to use in the card game, which will make your game a lot easier. Dark Souls is one of the only games that let you lose without RNG being involved. You lose because you suck, because you did something you shouldn't do, because you were too slow to press a button, you were too quick to press a button, anything in between. And in all honesty, that's actually quite refreshing compared to some of the other games I talked about earlier in this video, which were pretty much all RNG based. This game is skill based, and that's why I suck. What we're looking at here is Dark Souls 3, and if it's truly the last in the series, then it's a worthy send off. Weapon arts allow stylish and versatile new moves without trashing the purity of the combat system. The awe-inspiring locations provide visually stunning arenas for rigorous exploration and fierce face-off with hosts of deadly enemies and even deadlier bosses. If you haven't tried this game, this is the one that you should try. So this was just a list of some infuriating games that I believe have the records in destroying keyboards and gamepads. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. If you didn't, please leave a thumbs down. And if you made it this far, give me a sub. I have like 12 subscribers, so one more would mean a lot to me. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.